I found an unmarked fortress and what appeared to be the remnants of an ancient city on Google Earth in a valley in northern Peru. They were sitting along these ridges at almost 1,400 feet. I didn't see a clear path of getting to them, but I figured I'd figure it out when I got close. All I knew is I had to check it out. Alright, so I'm a little intimidated because I need to get up that mountain. There are a couple places along this route that are up this mountain and I don't think that's possible to climb. I've been driving for 15 minutes looking for an entryway. I finally asked somebody and they said there might be a cemetery nearby that has a possible way to get up, so let's check it out. All right, I switched hats. The sun is out, it's hot. So I found the cemetery that the guy was talking about, and I don't know, I have no idea how I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna try. But I mean, the place I'm looking for is up above and maybe over this ridge. Maybe this is a big maybe. So I got my sunscreen on, about to lace up my boots, and let's go for a hike. I just passed through that cemetery because a young kid told me there might be a path up the mountains through here. So we'll see. This does not look like a path, but I do want to make it to the top to see if I can find the places on the from Google Earth I saw. So this is what we got to do. There was no other way up here. Probably brilliant to build up there, so you don't have to worry about anything. During the Salinar period in Peru, which began in the early intermediate period, circa 200 BCE, it's been found that many of these northern valleys began to have fortress-like structures and settlements built along the peaks of the mountains. Oh man, it just keeps going. This indicated that the need for defensive structures was paramount to the cultures that lived in those areas, which signified a heightened time of warfare between neighboring clans. I can't tell you how many times the thought of whether or not I should turn back came up, but I knew that there was something at the top of these ridges, so I kept pushing forward. Alright, go the long way. Go the long way. Was a wipeout. This looks promising. Looks like part of it they use the natural outcrop of the mountain. They then created their own structure. Driving into the valley, I knew it wasn't going to be easy. But I did not know it was going to be this hard. Ow! That hurt. So close. While reviewing the timestamps of the footage when putting it together to make this video, I see that it took me a full hour to make it to the top of the ridge. Oh, thank you. Oh. A fortress structure. Wow, people definitely just digging all up in here. Part of the original structure here. There were pieces of pottery with clear impressions on them. And there were a few somewhat megalithic stones I came across that appeared to have been worked by humans in some capacity at some point. This one appears to have been made to have maybe some sort of handle, perhaps to tie something around it or to it. And here we can see that this one has been shaped by scooping motions. Alright, let's see if we can go to that city. The city is right here. Now, I'm not going to be surprised if I get there and we can't even tell that I'm standing on it. But it's clear that the impressions are there. It's one of the squares, I believe. Although you couldn't see much on the ground here, the impressions were clear and I could make out some of those square shapes I had seen from the drone. It's clear that this place had been found at some point within the last century, as stones were placed to create shapes like hearts. Plus the indications that people had obviously attempted to dig at this location, creating the looting pits looking for artifacts. This structure here is certainly the ancient ruins of something, and you can see someone tried to dig right in the center of the prominent circular portion.
Before I left, using the drone, I noticed these structures along the most northern part of the ridge, so I went to take a look. And it's my best guess that these could have been burials for elite members or even chieftains of the surrounding settlement, as the stones were aligned closest to the edge of the cliff and they were facing northeast, the common practice to have important architecture facing the sun as it rises on the solstices. And they definitely appear to have looting pits within them. After being satisfied that I had checked out all there was to see, I began making my way back. I had expected to find the structures much more intact than they actually were during this particular part of the expedition. However, it was quite clear that there was once indeed a settlement here with an accompanying fortress, and for all intents and purposes it does speak to that early Salinar period when cultures would move from the valley floor up into the mountains for defensive strategy as neighboring clans and tribes were beginning to start warfare. And although it wasn't as magnanimous as I had hoped, it was a hell of a journey, and I'm glad I did it. And now I began the treacherous descent back down that mountain I had climbed. You can see a clip of that here.
My God. Well, if that wasn't intimidating.
Behind the scenes and extended footage of this site and many others from my recent adventure in Peru are going to be made available on my Patreon. You can find the link in the description below, as well as photos and even 3D models of some of the sites I was able to visit. If you like this content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It'll help the channel grow, and please like, comment, share your thoughts, and share this with anyone who you think might find it interesting. Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next video.